Quotes by Plato that will change your life. Plato was one of the most brilliant and influential philosophers in history, and his ideas continue to shape the world we live in today. From ethics and politics to metaphysics and epistemology, Plato covered it all. Here are 20 of the wisest quotes from this great philosopher that will change the way you think about life. Plato is known for his thoughts on the human condition, democracy and justice, and the nature of reality. He was one of the most important thinkers in ancient Greece, and his ideas have had a huge impact on philosophy. Through his dialogues, Plato explored many of the most important questions that we still ask ourselves today. On love. Love is a serious mental disease. Plato believed that love was one of the most complicated and perplexing emotions that a human being could experience. He wrote extensively about the different kinds of love and the effect that love has on our lives. While love is often portrayed as a positive force, Plato saw it as something that could be dangerous and even destructive. On knowledge. All learning has an emotional base. On democracy. Dictatorship naturally arises out of democracy. Plato was deeply skeptical of democracy and believed that it inevitably led to dictatorship. He thought that the masses were too often swayed by emotions and not guided by reason. He believed that the only way to avoid tyranny was to educate the people and ensure that they governed with wisdom and justice. On courage. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Plato believed that true courage came from wisdom and knowledge. The courageous person is not one who acts recklessly or without thought, but one who acts rightly in the face of fear. He thought that the ultimate goal of human life was to achieve wisdom, and that true courage was a natural byproduct of that pursuit. On happiness. Happiness resides not in possessions, and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. Plato believed that true happiness could not be found in material possessions or external circumstances. Instead, he believed that happiness came from within, from living a life of virtue and pursuing the truth. The pursuit of happiness, then, was really a pursuit of self-improvement and personal growth. On wisdom. Wisdom alone is the science of other sciences. Plato believed that true wisdom was the foundation of all other areas of knowledge. Without wisdom, he thought, people would not be able to navigate the complexities of the world or understand the deeper meaning behind the things they experienced. On truth. Forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the LHT. Plato believed that the pursuit of truth was one of the highest aims of human life. He thought that too often, people were afraid of the light of truth and preferred to stay in the darkness of ignorance. He believed that it was only by seeking out the truth that we could truly understand ourselves and our place in the world. On education. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. Plato believed that education was crucial to a person's development and that it was important to cultivate a love of learning from a young age. He also believed that education should be tailored to the individual, taking into account their unique strengths and interests. On justice. Justice will only exist where those not affected by injustice are filled with the same amount of indignation as those who are. Plato believed that justice was one of the central virtues of human life. He thought that in order for justice to exist, people not affected by injustice had to feel the same outrage and indignation as those who were. This meant that it was not enough to simply avoid doing harm. People also had a responsibility to actively fight for justice. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to receive updates on new content.